This is the lineup for the final of the men's cox pairs. Matthew Pinsent and James Cracknell in lane 5. This, of course, the first half of their double gold medal attempt. They're next to the Americans in lane 6, closest to you.
Well, Italy were the fastest qualifiers. They were 7 seconds faster in qualifying in the through the earlier rounds, but significantly, Great Britain were 2.5 seconds faster in the first 500 meters. So we know that the British pair were coasting and that Italy were going for it. Romania are doubling up. They're in the 8 as well. There they are. They're going to be racing tomorrow in the 8 event as well, and they are a very good, experienced pair. There were 6 in the 8 in the Olympics, but it's this man there with a bald head in the stroke seat from Italy who is out to try and reap his revenge on the 2 men who beat him in the 4 in Sydney last year, and that's where really the biggest problem is going to come. But at the moment, they've got off well, the Great Britain pair. They've moved off well, and they're out in front, and that's where they want to be. They want to try and see if they can get a good, clear lead by 500 meters, so they then don't have to expend too much energy over the rest of the course. But here they are now, just looking for that first 500 meters where they can establish it. But the Italians aren't going to let them go. They're not going to let them do that too easily, and nor, by the look of it, is Romania there in lane 3.
Yes, the Romanians also one of many crews doubling up, looking for double gold at the regatta. Nemtok and Floriaru, they are experienced, so's their coxswain, so they could play a part in this. And I must say, Carboncini, when he saw Pinsent and Cracknell entered for this, his heart must have dropped, Dan.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But he's the one there. He is in 3rd place at the moment, putting pressure on the leading pair. Remember, this event is not an Olympic event, so the quality has slipped away from the time back in the late 80s and 90s when the great Abagnale brothers of Italy were dominant in this event, and then beaten briefly in 1986 by Redgrave, Steve Redgrave and Holmes when they went into this event, and then later on at the Olympics in 92 and again in the last World Championships in this event in 93 by the Searle brothers, the British pair, the British Searle brothers, who were so powerful in that event and produced such an extraordinary finish in Barcelona.
And here are the Italians. Yes, what fond memories, the Abagnales, who notched up no less than 7 world titles in this boat class. But those 2 Italians there, I think they're going to have to go some to try and overhaul the British today. But as far as James and Matthew are concerned, it is a question of trying to do this by using as little petrol as possible.
Yes, they're moving very nicely, the British pair, but still they're having to work. They're working over there at about 33, 34 strokes a minute. Italy in 2nd place, a length down. But the British pair having to push pretty hard. And again, James Cracknell has changed sides. He's rowing on a different side. You can see, by the way, he's throwing up a little bit of water there at the finish of the stroke. He's not completely comfortable yet.
In a way, Dan, they're quite different, aren't they? Because Matthew's rather laid back, does as much as is necessary. James, in a sense, always wanting to do a little bit more.
Yes, it's reflected sometimes in their rowing, because when you see them rowing towards you, you see James Cracknell's back come on early in a way. He seems to get onto it. He's rather eagerly trying to push Pinsent on a bit. But Pinsent likes to lay down the rhythm, doesn't want to be hurried, wants to make sure that he is laying down the right stroke very powerfully. But my goodness, when he's moved to anchor, Pinsent it to 44, 46, 48 if he wants to, whatever's necessary to win the race. But here they look pretty comfortable. They're at 33, 34 strokes a minute, moving very nicely. Would like to have a little bit more, but they're not going to be allowed to have too easy a ride by Italy, who are hunting them all the way.
Going past the boat enclosures, so still a good way to go as we see the Romanians. That's Floriaru facing you, Nemtok behind him. And these 2 men also in with a chance of a medal here, but it's, so to speak, Indian file. Great Britain, then 2 from the bottom of your picture, the Italians, then the Romanians, and the others really out of it at this moment.
Isn't it interesting how barman in Romania, Floriano, is just looking across every time, every stroke he takes a little look across, but I think that's probably just looking at his blade, and it's a tick, it's a habit. I don't think he's looking right across to see what the rest of the field are doing, but it's just the way that he's rowing. But it is a strange kind of looking across at every stroke. But here out in front, it's the Great Britain pair looking very powerful indeed, very strong. and leading the field by just over a length.
I suppose one advantage for them is they don't have to worry about steering the boat with Neil Chagani down in the bow to do that.
Yeah, Neil will be delighted to have been called back to his to Cox here. He's a member of Leander Club, where both Pinsent and Cracknell come from, and his last appearance really was a medal in the under-23 championships 10 years ago. So he's thrilled to be back in the driving seat.
Yes, I think he's taken what, 10 weeks off work to be here at the World Championships, and so far so good. 500 meters to go, and then Dan, they'll have what, an hour and 15 minutes, not more, to get out of the boat, and they've already developed, haven't they, this
they
plan?
Practiced it, yeah, they practiced it yesterday between races, and what they've decided, they don't want to go out on the water too early. They could or stay out on the water immediately after the race to wind down. They would rather get off the water, get right away from the racing, get away from the bouncy water, go for a 25-minute walk, have a massage, take on some water, have a banana, and just prepare for the race, and then go out a little bit early to get used to their coxless boat again. But it's a tall order, doubling up, doing this, so they really don't want to expend too much energy here. And there's Italy, irritatingly staying there in contention while they try to have an easy cruise over this first of their historic attempt at a double. And remember, the last time this happened was when Redgrave and Holmes attempted it back in 87 and got a gold and silver. And then in the following year at the Olympics, they got a gold and bronze. Couldn't do the double. But here, now you can see Italy coming back. Italy are really not to be denied. They're coming back on them, and they're going to force Pinsent to raise the rate here. It's now the last 200 meters, and Italy are putting them under pressure.
Yes, it's a little bit less than that now, and just looking at Matthew there, he's looking right out to his right there, saying, don't you dare. They're going to get there ahead, but they've had to work that little bit harder, but good enough in the end. They've taken the gold in the men's cox pairs. Great Britain ahead of Italy. Romania solid in third place. The other three coming across the line in their own time. But you can see here how close the Italians got. So part one accomplished, but using up a little extra petrol to hold off the Italians. Now they've got to get off the water, walk off the lactate, reduce their body temperature.